Hey moms, it's Katie here, and I am so excited because I have Miss Dakota, or Miss North Dakota, I should call her, here with me. It sounds like this is a pageant at this point. But I have Alisha here, and Alisha moved from North Dakota to Arizona. So tell me a little bit about that, Alisha. Tell me, first of all, when did you move here?
We first moved here in 2013, June 2013.
How did that go?
We had a lot of melted items on our way here.
Like candles, don't take candles, nothing gummy, anything like that.
Yep.
Crayons, forget it.
Yep. I didn't really put that together. I don't know why, but
Who would? Coming from North Dakota, it's a little bit different. Arizona is a little bit of a different ball game.
for sure.
So that being said, why did you choose Arizona? Any specific reason?
I think I was kind of going, I like to say, a quarter life crisis. I had only lived in North Dakota, and my significant other at the time, he had lived everywhere. He was kind of like a gypsy, and he had ended up back in North Dakota, and we had, I had talked about the weather, how awful it was, and how I wanted to move somewhere nice and all this stuff. And he was like, well, why don't you? And I was like, I don't know. Why
Good
don't
question.
So we did, kind of out of nowhere, no plans, no jobs. Like, it was the craziest thing I've ever did.
Wow, sounds exciting though.
Yeah, it was scary and exciting at the same time, that's for sure.
So how long did it take to move? When did you start making the arrangements, that kind of thing?
Um, like I said, it was pretty fast moving, probably a month
Oh,
before.
wow. So you
Yeah.
like 30 days between decision and move?
Yes.
Wow, that is a whirlwind.
Yep.
So any special arrangements that you had to make? I mean, did you have a house full of furniture? What'd you do with all that?
I had a house that I decided to rent out.
Oh, nice.
Um, and then, yeah, I parted with all my nice things, and, just had what was in a mini U-Haul trailer.
So you basically like chose the size of truck and said, okay, I'm only getting this size and that's it.
Yep, pretty much.
Awesome, awesome. Did you come with any children?
I did not.
Okay, but you have children.
I do. I have
So
a 2-year.
awesome. So putting yourself in the shoes of living in North Dakota, coming to Arizona in 30 days, which makes me sweat a little bit. If you had children, any advice on what you would arrange in terms of like childcare, schools, anything like that?
I guess I'm fortunate that I got to see all of this after I had kids. But I think it would be like such a great resource to have, like, the MOMnation, and there's so many other mom groups, or even, it's crazy, even like the SWIP swap. They
Mm-hmm.
have for like each neighborhood. That's kind of helpful. I know that was one thing I didn't really know about the neighborhoods. I had Googled all this stuff. I don't know why, but I was so worried about crime. And coming from North Dakota, it was a big deal.
Small
So
town, big city, right? So small
yeah,
town to big city. And that's why.
but it was so much different once you got here, I thought. But yeah, I think it would have been nice to hear from other people, in the schools and stuff like that. And my son, he's only 2 now, so I still even listen to that stuff now, because I'm not really sure. It's a lot different from back home, because a lot of kids go to only public school, where here there's a million charter schools that I don't even know how to deal with those, because there's so many, and which one do you choose? And
So true. We're dealing with that right now. So there's like charter schools, Montessori schools, private schools, public
yeah,
schools. Blah, 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 blah.
well, even what we have him in is a preschool, which I didn't even know existed.
Mhm.
So he's 2, and they're talking about how he's going to school. I was like, I didn't even know this really existed. So it's a lot of info for sure.
That's funny. Like, aren't you too little for school? I don't know. That just seems funny to me.
Right.
And it's, I come from a really small town too. I come from New Hampshire. And so the town I'm from probably had like 9,000 people before I
Oh,
moved out here. And so, yes, I went from like 9,000 5 million some odd,
Right.
whatever. And I had sort of that same feeling and that same fear, like, oh my God, all the crime, there's going to be so much crime. What am I going to do? There's going to be crime all over the place. If you think about it, you know, in the way it actually is, kind of the same everywhere, and it's just per capita. So yeah, you're going to hear more stuff when there's 5 million whatever amount of people around versus, you know, your community of 9,000. It's just a huge difference.
Right.
So I, like you, once I came out here and found myself an area of town that I enjoyed and was comfortable with, that went out the door. I'm fine now.
Exactly.
What's the biggest difference that you've discovered between your home state and Arizona?
There's a lot of different things. I feel like there's a lot more, like we can take a day trip every weekend, and that's one thing I love. Like back home, I mean, we have to go 4 hours to go in. Like last weekend, we went to Jerome and Sedona, you know, and then they have, I mean, there's so many other places that, you know, we live in North Phoenix, so we'll go to Mesa, to Legoland for the, you know, for the weekend activity, and we can come home and it's just nice. But that, and I'd probably say like the Greenery, that's a little hard to get used to at times. Lots of, you know, there's just grass. Like I remember being able to go in my backyard and go without shoes on. Now I'd probably question that a little bit. I don't know.
With, you know, scorpion, stuff like that.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Yeah.
But to speak to your point, you bring up a really great point about the trips, because if your hometown or home state is anything like mine, you couldn't travel a couple of hours and be in a different climate either.
Oh, no.
So here, like, we can go up to Flagstaff, which is like 2 hours and change away, and we can go skiing. You know what I mean? Or back down to Phoenix, and if you have a heated pool, hell, you can go swimming.
Right.
So there, and you can get the greenery, which is what I really love about Arizona, and not a lot of people from other states understand, is that we have Flagstaff. We have gorgeous, like at the Mount Lemon, I don't know if you've ever been there, outside of Tucson, but it's very green and very beautiful, and it's way high up on a mountain. So once you get up there, it's just a totally different ballgame, totally different climate.
Sure. Yeah, no, and I think once you get more familiar with all the, because everybody will kind of give you like their secret spot that you didn't know even existed. You just find different areas like water. I think that was another one that I was like, gosh, because we come from, like, there's a lot of lakes around. And when we went to like Lake Pleasant, I was so shocked because there's like no beach. Oh, that was you.
Okay. Yeah, right? Isn't that weird? It's like the rocky coast. Oh, there you go again. And you're back.
But yeah, that was strange because I was super excited to go to the lake, and then that was kind of different. But then you can go to, like, I love the Mesa area, like over by Mill Avenue, like all that kind of stuff, which I don't know why, but it took me a year to actually go over there.
Like Tempe Town Lake and...
Yeah, there we go, Tempe, sorry.
That's okay.
But yeah, like all the different areas that everybody kind of clues you in on later. It's just kind of, it's like never ending. I'm sure there's so many that I still haven't seen.
Absolutely. Totally never ending. I mean, there's the white tanks that I've never even been to way out west. I've never even gone there.
Exactly. And I have heard of that one. I just haven't made the truck up there yet.
Is there a part of town that's most like your home state in terms of like people, sports teams? If you were feeling real homesick, you go to this part of town or part of the state, and it just kind of makes you feel a little bit closer to home.
I really like where we are right now. We're pretty far up in North Phoenix, kind of like that Happy Valley off the 17.
It's pretty up there.
You don't have to deal with the traffic and all the crazy stuff. It's kind of like your own little area, which I really love that. But I don't know, I really like the Arrowhead area too, kind of in Glendale. But the thing that I've liked a lot about Phoenix is it seems like every little part, like even Gilbert or Glendale, it's like their own little small town, I guess. So it kind of has their own little feel of being back home. I don't know if that makes sense, but so it doesn't seem as big as it actually is. It's all these mediocre little places kind of put together.
Little tight-knit places. Yeah, no, I totally feel you. I live in Ahwatukee, and that's perfect example. We're actually Phoenix, but we're kind of in this little cul-de-sac underneath South Mountain, and it's a very small town feel. I love Ahwatukee.
Exactly.
So what do you wish that you knew before you moved out here that you know now?
I guess probably just all the information. Like like I said, I Googled a lot on this crime and all this other stuff. The one thing that is funny that stands out to me, which I don't know if anybody else has had this happen, but I was a big Groupon-er because we didn't have jobs when we came here. And I remember Groupon taking me into the weirdest neighborhoods and being like, oh my God, where am I? But I don't know. It was kind of an adventure too, so I don't know if I necessarily wish that I knew that. But yeah, just more information on kind of like the traffic. I ended up getting a job right away here. I was living in Glendale, but I had to commute to Tempe, and that was a huge deal. I'm in sales, so it was only once a week, but still, it was a huge commute, over 2 hours. So that
Yeah,
was
that's
not
far. Especially in traffic,
yeah, but who knows? We might have chosen an East Side place if I would have known that. Not the best planning on our part, but just kind of know the neighborhoods a little bit better, get a feel from using that social media that I really didn't prior.
Mm-hmm. Well, coming from areas like it sounds very similar from this, the same as where I'm from, is you don't realize how vast area, like how vast Phoenix is, and
Yeah.
the Phoenix area. I mean, I think we are the 5th or 6th largest city in the country. We kind of go back and forth, I think, between us and Houston or something like that. But area-wise,
Mm-hmm.
I want to say we're larger than that. I mean, I don't know the exact statistic, but I'm willing to bet we rival some of those top population cities here.
Yeah, for sure.
We're just like urban sprawl, man.
We're just not so pushed together like everybody else.
True, which I like because it kind of, gives me a little bit of room. And the sky's so big out here. Did you notice that too? I don't know if it's like that in North Dakota, but when I came here, I was like, oh, the sky is so big. Why is it so big?
See, I was more looking at the mountains because we don't have any of those.
Okay. It's another thing that a lot of people from other states don't think we have here in Phoenix. We have some pretty awesome mountains. I mean, our hiking trails are nothing to shake a stick at.
I agree. Some of them I've been too scared to do, but yeah, the ones that I have done, they've been a lot of fun.
They're very nice, very scenic. Any advice you'd like to offer families coming from your home state to Arizona before we wrap up?
I think just reaching, like I said in the beginning, I wish I would have known about all the social media stuff. Look into a lot of things. I think the disadvantage that I had right away is I never took advantage of that. And me and my spouse, we worked opposite hours. So it was kind of a little lonely at first because I was in sales. So I worked pretty independently.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it could have been, stuff like the way that they are working right now. It's so forthcoming where everybody's that's the nice part about Arizona is everybody's from a melting pot. You're not the only person that just moved clear across the country to go here, and they're all looking for friends too, and somebody to, have a socialize with and, play dates and all that kind of stuff.
It's a really great point. So tap into the resources and don't feel alone because you're exactly right. I mean, I can probably count on my fingers and toes how many natives that I know in Phoenix.
Right.
Everyone else I know is from somewhere else. So it absolutely hands down is like that. I think it's very, very important to make that point. Just, don't feel alone because absolutely everybody is trying to reestablish their networks once they move out here from a completely different ballgame.
Right. And just put yourself out there. I mean, I think it's so funny because I'm in sales, but I'm kind of a little bit introverted where once I get to where I need to be, I'm in a good situation, but sometimes it's just getting to that meeting or getting to that networking event or something like that. But afterwards, it's like amazing how good you feel or, so just kind of put yourself out there, even though it's not comfortable, but it's definitely worth it. I think it's better than sitting alone, I guess, and reaching out to everybody from back home and them talking how bad the weather is.
How bad the weather is, how bad this is, how bad that is. Same thing for me. I totally well, cool. Well, I appreciate you being here with me today, Alisha. It has been really fun getting to know you a little bit better and kind of hearing about your move and your advice and all of that good stuff. And I'll see you around.
All right. Thanks, Katie.
Bye.
Bye.